with that being said, I think we can get into our first specific game preview, and that is Mississippi State hosting Tennessee this weekend. I believe Mississippi State 7.5-point underdogs. Tennessee's favored by 7.5 currently.
Opened at 9.5.
Open at 9.5. It's a 3:15 kickoff. Did not get the night game, unfortunately. Y'all's thoughts on this game, though, as the State fans on the podcast?
Yeah, so it opened at 9.5, and then Josh Pate Sunday night in the last 3 minutes of his show encouraged people to go bet State to cover. That line has moved 2 points to 7.5. I feel good. I'm excited. And kind of getting more. I disagree with JP, his comment earlier. Well, I'm not on campus, so maybe I can't speak for that. But his point about the excitement not being there like it was for the Arizona State game, I have a lot of excitement, and maybe I'm just kind of like projecting that onto other people. But I feel like Twitter is also pretty full of excitement, so I'm excited. I think that there's some big things to highlight going into this game. My personal, like one of the biggest things I see, Jermod McCoy still being out. That was a big question mark coming into this week. He was ruled out, I think, yesterday. That'll be something to monitor just with the way we try to push the ball downfield. Another thing to keep in mind will be their running back core. So how does our defensive line hold up against those guys? Star Thomas, Deshaun Bishop have both been really good this year. Both have over 250 yards on the ground. Both have 4 touchdowns and 3 touchdowns, respectively. So those guys have been fantastic. How does our D-line, missing Whitson, how does that hold up? Because that was kind of a question mark coming into the season, was defensive line. It's looked good so far, but against lesser competition. Another thing to watch will be our secondary. So we've got knowns in Kelly Jones and Isaac Smith. Isaac Smith plays more of a linebacker now. He's moved from safety, so he moves around. But Kelly Jones at cornerback has been fantastic all season. 0 touchdowns allowed, 3 pass breakups, only 2 receptions when targeted. So he's been fantastic. And then we also have Diego Brumfield and Brylan Lanier, 2 other guys, lower PFF grades, 66.2, 67.8, but both have played well. I believe Lanier might have an interception on this season. I didn't put that in my notes.
He did in this other missed game.
Yep, that's what I thought. That'll be interesting. Could those guys, Brumfield, I think, comes off the bench typically.
No, he plays.
Okay.
Him and Jefferson essentially kind of switch.
Okay.
Yeah.
But for the most part, it's been Diago.
Okay. Well, I had one of them, according to PFF, hadn't started a game yet. They just played. They played a lot of snaps.
Diago's technically the second name on the depth chart. That's probably why.
That's probably what it was. So he's played a lot of snaps. He's going to play a lot of snaps on Saturday. How does he hold up against guys like Chris Brazzell? That's going to be a big matchup. That won't be him. It'll most likely be Kelly Jones who shadows Brazzell. But just the way
we don't shadow.
Sorry, zone. We play what?
We just play sides. We didn't shadow Jordan Tyson at least, so
sure.
I doubt we'll shadow Chris Brazzell. Kelly Jones typically plays the right, our right, if you
defensive
right, and then Diago or Jet play the left.
Yeah. So how do they hold up against a pretty high-powered Tennessee offense? That'll be something to monitor. Another thing to monitor, Darian. I don't know how to say his last name. Gullett.
I don't know how to say his last name either.
Our linebacker.
Levy just calls him Darian.
Well, he missed last week. He's questionable coming into this week. He leads the team in tackles, even having missed a week. So 13 tackles for 3 games. He'll be a really important piece to get back. And then, Sven makes a great point. Our offensive line, how does it hold up against guys like Joshua Josephs? Josephs has been incredible with 12 pressures, 3 sacks, an 82.9 PFF grade through the first 4 games. So how does the offensive line hold up? I saw somewhere, is it PFSN? Is that not the new thing we've been seeing?
I don't know who they are, but yeah.
There is a Twitter account backed by an organization that does data and analytics, and they've got us as the number 8 graded offensive line in the country. Some of that may be due to the quality of opponent we've played, but yes, Sven makes a great point. If our offensive line can keep shape it and stay protected against guys like Josephs and give him time to get the ball to Brennan Thompson and Anthony Evans, we've got a shot. Those are kind of my big things to watch, is our secondary matched up against Joey Aguilar and Brazzell, and then our defensive line matched up against their O-line and those 2 running backs out of the backfield.
Yeah. And I will say it's not just Brazzell. Braylon Staley's had a really good start to the season. Young kid as well. I believe he's a true freshman, maybe redshirt. But he has multiple touchdowns, over 200 receiving yards at this point. Has really impressed So it's not necessarily the same as a Jordan Tyson situation, the Arizona
Yeah.
State game. They're a little deeper in the wide receiver core. You're gonna have to match up across the board and take multiple guys away. So just something to keep in mind. JP, your thoughts?
I don't think the game even starts there, and I don't think that needs to even be mentioned.
The wide receiver versus the DBs.
I don't think that's the key to the game.
Okay.
Arizona State ran for 248 yards in the second half against us. Can Tennessee do the same? I think that's the key to the game for us defensively. It seems, at least, that the Tennessee fans expect them to run the ball and try to run the ball a ton. And it'll be just a question, can we hold up in the ground game well against that? We were able to in the first half against Arizona State. The crowd played a huge factor in that, but we were also flying to the ball and showed a ton of energy. Second half, not so much. Northern Illinois game, though, I'd say the start we kind of got punched in the mouth from a running game perspective, but from there on out, we were very, very good against a team that runs the ball 2 out of 3 times. Tennessee's averaging 202 rushing yards per game, so they are very capable at running the ball with Star Thomas, and that, I think, is the key to the game, not necessarily the DBs versus their wide receivers, because Aguilar, they're throwing the ball. They have 339 passing yards per game, which is 8th in the country. But so much of that is set up off of the play action. And then on top of that, it is that they are hitting almost all of their downfield shots, it feels like.
I heard that like 65. I was listening to a podcast this morning previewing the game. Tennessee's like 65% of their passes are play action, I believe.
Yes.
That's from the PFF college football show.
And that's the way it should be. That's how you should set up, is run the ball to set up the pass, specifically the play action pass, and not, dink and dunk your way down the entire field. Tennessee's not an air raid offense by any means. They're run first to set up the pass. And so I think the key to the game for us defensively is being stout in the run and forcing 3rd and 8, 3rd and 9, because at least at this point, Joey Aguilar hasn't necessarily shown the ability to take care of the football.
Yeah.
Had a pick against Georgia, and he had picks prior in the season as well. I think our guys will be fine one-on-one, but it becomes more of a question if Riley Lanier or Hunter Washington or Isaac Smith have to go help in the rushing game. Then that's leaving guys on islands, and Diago and Kelly are great in small samples, but if we're not establishing a heavy pass rush, then we're going to get eaten alive in that case. So we've got to stop the run first and foremost. I think that's the key to the game for us defensively. Offensively, I think it's, can we just keep shaping upright for the most part, especially against that pass rush? I think our wide receivers are better than their DBs, especially without Gerard McCoy.
Yeah.
And I don't think Boo Carter is playing either.
I can double check that.
There's another DB that's not playing, but it may not be Boo.
I don't think it's Boo, but I could be wrong.
Okay. But I think we have the matchup there. Georgia clearly did. And I think our receivers
Are better than Georgia.
I think they're
receivers?
on the same page. Zachariah Branch is
Yep.
insane, and London Humphreys is very solid too. But I think as a group, we're on par at least.
Yeah.
So we got to keep shaping up right. Like Lebby said, you have to stay out of 3 and outs because that keeps the crowd in the game.
Yeah.
That was the story of the Tennessee-Georgia game, was that when Tennessee was not moving the ball. Now, they only had 1 3 and out in the entire game, but they had 5 and outs. They had multiple 5 and outs, 2 specifically. It took Rocky Top out of the game. Georgia was then able to run whatever they wanted and communicate well, and they were effective in the running game because of that. We need to avoid 3 and outs ourselves. And I'm really interested to see how it'll go with pace of play. We're the 2 of the fastest teams in the entire country. Tennessee is 3rd in pace of play with an average time between plays of 20.6 seconds. The Dogs are 17th at 23.5 seconds.
Yep.
So we're going to be flying both sides up and down the field and no huddle a ton. And I'm really curious to see who that will affect the most. Other things, penalties is a big one.
Yeah.
We're second in the country in terms of penalty yardage per game, 95 penalty yards per game. But I also calculated 89 penalty yards per game, and I saw a different number as well. So it's like 90
It's
yards.
not great regardless.
There's a bunch of different numbers out there. Tennessee has also not been great. They have 65 penalty yards per game. So penalties is a huge one there, and especially with our crowd. Like, if we can force false starts ourselves, force illegal motions, illegal shift, whatever you want to call it, that's going to help a ton. We've got to limit penalties because that gets us behind the 8 ball. That puts us in second and 15, 3rd and 9. That's when the pass rush is going to eat us alive, especially Joshua Josephs. I'm scared of that guy.
Yeah.
He's a really, really good ball player. On top of that, I think winning the turnover battle is key. We have done that through 4 games. We're +8 in the turnover margin if you count turnover on downs, which I do personally. When you're talking about turnovers, we need to win the turnover battle on Saturday as well. Force Aguilar to turn it over. But also, if we're going to be aggressive and go for it on 4th down, it's not a hot take, but convert it.
Sure.
That I think that's key to the game.
I'd rather convert him than not convert him, personally.
Agreed.
So
My biggest take, though, is I think the under has to hit for us to win this game.
That's fair.
I don't think we can outscore Tennessee.
I think that's fair.
I'll say
The
two of your. Oh, go ahead.
Point total 63.5. So it needs to be like a 35-24 kind of game.
Yeah.
Sure. Let me hop in real
Go.
quick. What's up, Brian? Just wanted to say, hey, I think you maybe think about Ricky Gibson, Tennessee's cornerback, who's out for the rest of the season in terms of another one that's injured.
Yeah, that's who it was.
But I do want to shout out Colton Hood has been playing great. So while they're not the deepest, they kind of still have this guy that's kind of transforming into a lockdown corner and is playing really well. Take it away, Sam.
Yeah, I think 2 of your points, JP, complement each other really well, and I don't know if you addressed it specifically, but the one about us avoiding 3 and outs, and then the one about up tempo play. And because I was watching rewatching Tennessee Georgia last night, the number of times they're snapping the ball with 25 seconds left on the game clock is crazy. So they are going to move fast, but avoiding those 3 and outs is going to be a key, not just because it's good for the offense, but because of how much it helps the defense. If you're constantly running a defense out there after 2.5 minutes because we had 2 incomplete passes and a 3-yard rush, they're going to be gassed against that up-tempo Tennessee offense. So avoiding the 3 and outs not only keeps the crowd in the game, which Sven makes a great point, is going to be key because Joey Aguilar has looked incredible, but he comes from App State, right? He hasn't played a true road game at Tennessee yet. He hasn't seen an SEC road environment. At its best, State has one of the best road environments in the SEC. I think we do have the benefit of the cowbells. That helps a lot. So if we can make it hell for him, it'll be a test. I'm not saying we haven't seen anything to think he can't handle it, but I'd much rather make him handle it than, like you said, have those 3 and outs that take the crowd out of the game quick, or give up a fast touchdown and then go 3 and out and give up another one and it's 14-0. That's worst case scenario. That's how I feel like games have often gone once we go against the big teams in the SEC. Think Georgia. I can remember games against Georgia where we feel like we have a chance going in, and then you blink, and then it's 14-3.
That was the LSU game.
Yeah, LSU game. So those are important, is how does our crowd stay involved, and I do think you make a great point that it's going to have a lot to do with avoiding those 3 and outs, keep the defense fresh, because we've talked about this all offseason, and now we're here. Our defense is much improved from last year. It's better. It's good, but it does not have the depth of what you really want to see from an SEC defense. The high-end play from Kelly Jones, from Isaac Smith is very good. Isaac Smith playing fantastic right now. Kelly Jones, too, playing one of the best corner grade-wise and completion percentage-wise, playing fantastic. But you get those guys out, you get them gassed, it starts to get a little stressful. Brian asks, should State be ranked? Absolutely. If they win this game, this is a huge game.
We should already be ranked.
We should already be ranked. But this
That's
is a big game. I don't want to get into that because that is we got to play the game first before we worry about that. But yes,
Sure.
this is the kind of game that does impact that. Yes, Brian, winning, even if it's as a home game, even it being a home game, a win here is a big deal. Would absolutely get us ranked, or
Yeah.
should. I'm not going to say it would, because you never know.
I agree.
It would rank us 100%. Like the only way it doesn't if I don't know, for some reason every team above us wins this weekend, but that's not necessarily available. Like TCU is playing at Arizona State tomorrow night. Illinois plays USC. Both of those teams are 21-23, so we're more than likely one of those teams drops. Auburn, who's technically above us at 26, plays at A&M. So if Auburn were to lose, that kind of guarantees we're the next man up there. I would guarantee we're ranked if we were to beat Tennessee, but we should already be ranked. We have a better win than TCU. We have a better win than BYU. We have a better win than Notre Dame. So I don't understand it. It's not like we've been piss poor, and in any of the other games we've covered the spread all 4 times. So we should already be ranked.
Yeah, I don't think that's super relevant, and that's great. Sven just said that he spends $5,000 a year to fly to Starkville to watch games. So that's awesome.
But the tickets are free.
The tickets
and so
are free.
That makes it worth it.
Free tickets on the 2 tickets on the 40-yard line for free whenever he flies over. That's awesome. Any other
No,
things to watch out for?
let's pick this game. The spread we already mentioned, but Tennessee's 7.5. Sanders, you picking State to
I'm
cover?
picking the dogs. I'm absolutely
You
picking the
him
dogs
to win.
I'm picking him to win
Okay.
and cover.
JP.
I've picked them. They have covered every time. I was the only one out of the 3 of us to pick them last week. Y'all said that eventually we're due. It's not yet. 4-0 against the spread. I think we cover again.
There wasn't even an indictment on our team. I thought it was just a statement of how good NIU is at sticking in games. On June 18th of this year, I let the world know that we might beat Tennessee this year.
You did say that.
And on August 14th of this year, I said that we will beat Tennessee.
You did say that.
We will beat Tennessee this weekend. Obviously, we would cover 7.5. I think this is just a game that we will win. I think the home crowd plays a huge effect. I can feel the energy in the locker room. I don't feel it on campus. They said I haven't felt it this week to the same degree that Arizona State was. Asking people around, hearing conversations as I'm walking through the drill field, or professors asking in class, are we going to win this weekend? I haven't felt that kind of excitement from the student body. But we've sold out Davis Wade. Cowbells are going to be packed. We have the Cowbells still for now. And I think they'll play enough of a factor in this game. I think the Dogs win.
Sure. Even if you haven't felt the energy on campus, if you're just in any group me and you see the hordes of people texting trying to find tickets and no one texting selling tickets, kind of tells you where the place is to be this weekend. And
Yeah.
it's in Davis Wade. I am going to take Tennessee to cover here, though. It's going to be a fast-paced game. We've talked about it a ton, and I just don't think State's going to be able to hold up for the whole 60 minutes, and Tennessee will pull away late. But y'all put up a good fight. But I'm going to take Tennessee to cover, and this is where I'm going to start creeping back up in the standings, of our pick 'em, because it's got to start happening at some point. I'm due.
You
So,
just
give
hurt
me
yourself.
Tennessee.
0-1 to start the weekend is crazy.